Frankenstein Letters 1 through 4 and chapters 1 through 3, real basic overview. So, a little bit of background. The author, Mary Shelley, who was only 18 years old when she wrote the book Frankenstein, and her literary companions engaged in a ghostwriting contest. That night, she dreamt of a scientist who was scared of his own invention. Thus, the book Frankenstein was born. Figuratively, she did not give birth to a book. Letter 1 was Robert Walton, and he is at sea. He is writing to his sister, Margaret Seville, and he's on his way to the North Pole. And he tells his sister in this first letter that he wants to accomplish some great purpose. He wants to be known for something. He wants to do something important. And then in the second and third letter, he told his sister that he's lonely because no one on the ship is as smart as he is, but he is not smart enough to engage with them either. He lacks the emotional intelligence because of his ego, because of he thinks he's too smart. He just can't relate to people. So his emotional IQ is low, and he believes that his IQ is high. And although he is lonely, he is also still confident that he will achieve his great purpose on his voyage to the North Pole. And in the last letter, Walton is still writing to his sister, and he tells her that he saw a sledge guided by a gigantic creature just going through the snow hills and then faded off in the distance. And it was like 8 feet tall, like absurd. And so the next morning, they saw another one stranded in an ice floe. But the man was normal sized, emaciated, weak, starving. All of his dogs were dead but one, and he was in really, really bad condition. So Walton and his crew say, "Come here, let us help you, let us nurse you back to health, And he goes, "Nope, I'm not going on board. I have other things I need to get done. I may be dying, but I'm going to do it on my own terms." And they go, "No, seriously, man, come on the ship. We're going north." And Walton was like, "Well, that's where I want to go. So sure, go ahead, help me out." And he got on the boat. And that's when Walton and Victor started to get to know each other. So in the first chapter, it switches to the point of view of Victor. So Walton is writing to his sister, and now this is from the perspective of Victor, who is in the shed, the one that was emaciated, the one with the dying dogs. And he started talking about his life and his mother, Caroline, and his dad, Alphonse. She had a childhood companion, Elizabeth Lavenza, and brothers, Ernest, Gahart, and William. Please disregard my poor pronunciation. And his parents, especially his mother, wanted Victor and Elizabeth to marry. Now, his mother came from poverty, so she was very empathetic toward people who were poor. And she went to Italy, and she saw this little girl. She was an orphan. She was in severe poverty. And she goes, "Okay, Elizabeth, you come home with me back to Switzerland, Geneva." And so she brings Elizabeth home and raises her alongside Victor, Ernest, Gahart, and William. And William's the youngest of the brothers. In the second chapter, they introduce Victor's friend, Henry Clerval. And he comes in to check on Victor and go to school with him. And at this time, Victor becomes very interested in natural power. And a lightning destroyed a tree near his house. And that was one of the first wake-up calls that this is something he really wants to study. And in the third chapter, Victor leaves his family in Switzerland to attend school at the university. And his mother catches scarlet fever while caring for Elizabeth. So Elizabeth was sick, and Caroline was trying to nurse her back to health. And in turn, Elizabeth got better, and Caroline did not. And Caroline died. and her dying wish was that Victor and Elizabeth get married. And Victor went back to school, and he met with a professor of natural philosophy, Kremp. And Kremp told Victor that his studies were a waste of time and he should study natural philosophy. And then Victor met a chemistry professor, Walden, and was convinced to pursue science and continue the path that he was on, trying to animate life.